everybody, it's Kathy Champion with Random Acts of Crafting, and we are back for our Monday Christmas card. I told you last Monday that each Monday between now and Christmas I will feature a different Christmas card here on my channel. So I've been working and kind of researching a little bit to try to come up with something just a little bit different, something kind of pretty, but yet something that I might not have seen done before. So we're going to start out first with a card base, and I'm doing this in the Scarlett, and I have cut this at oh, this isn't the one that I want. I'm so sorry. I want my card to open in the opposite direction, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut another piece of cardstock, and I am going to cut this in half on my 11 inch side. So this is going to be cut in half at 5.5, because half of 11 would be 5.5. So we're going to cut this like so, and this will give me another card base also, and I figure with Christmas it will definitely not go to waste. So now we're going to score this at 4 1/4, and this will give us the fold that we need. So at 4 1/4, right here, and there we go. There's a perfect little A2 size card. Now what I wanted was a window. I wanted it to look like a window looking in or looking out, and I think this one is going to look more like it's looking in. So I went through my dies and I found this cute little window die, and this is just a beautiful little die that will cut us a little window out of white that's going to live right here on the front of our card. So I'm going to lay my card base over here, and let's get our cuddle bug. And we're going to cut this out of just a white piece of paper. I'm going to lock that down. And I've got a piece of white right here that this will actually cut on. So let me get my plates. Alright, and I'm going to load up my A plate. I do have this little piece of cardstock that I'm using as a shim. And my C plate, which is actually my cutting plate. And then I've got my B plate that's going to be our cover plate. So I'm just going to lay this down. And if you do not have a cuddle bug and you don't have this specific die, this is a Spellbinders, and it is called Window 2, and it's just a one-piece little cutting die. And there you can see it. It is S2-016 if you wanted to look that up to purchase it. I've had this die for quite some time. It's beautiful to do a spring window in, or a Christmas window, even a fall window. But today we're definitely going to be using it as a Christmas window. So there is our little window. And as you can see, it cuts out very, very pretty. I'm just going to lift it up off of the die. And we got everything out except a couple of little pieces, which is good. And I want to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. All I'm doing is pushing these little pieces out of my die just to give us a nice clean look. Okay. And I'm just going to move the rest of this out of the way for right now, and we will get back to this shortly. Okay. I saw something very similar to this on Pinterest, and it's what inspired my idea to do a little Christmas window. Now I thought, how cute would it be if it would look like we had some snow, so I went and found a piece of glitter cardstock, and you can see what a beautiful glitter that gives it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to maybe bring it down to about here, and I'm going to glue down the top part of this window and down the middle and across here, and then we're just going to cut that out. So I'm going to use a little art glitter glue, and let's see, I was going to zoom you in, but I don't think you need to be zoomed in for this. We're just going to put down just a little glue and down through the middle of this window, maybe a little on each side. And then we're going to do a little bit across here and some across in here. And then we're just going to bring this over and we're going to press this down right about here. What I'm trying to do is get as close to the edge as I can, because we're going to trim around this once we get it glued. And it is hard to glue to glitter paper, just so you'll know. And I might have to run this through my Xyron, but I'm hoping I can get it like this. It doesn't seem like it wants to adhere up here, so we're going to bring it back, put a little extra glue right around here, and mash that back down. Maybe we just need to hold it for just a few minutes. Sometimes you can lay something heavy on this and move on to the next step, but my next step is going to be cutting this out, so for the sake of the video, we're going to hope that it does adhere. If it doesn't, I'll go back and put some glue on it. But I'm just going to go up, and basically what you're doing is just fussy cutting the window out. So just, angle your scissors and cut around just like so. Just all around like this. And this is not a hard fussy cut, so if you're one of those people that doesn't like to fussy cut, these are all straight lines, just a little roundness around the top of that window, so it's not a hard cut at all. So this is pretty straightforward. And pull that loose. Let's get that little extra out of that corner. There we go. We do have glitter all over everything, which I don't particularly care for, but that's okay. I'm going to use my little microfiber cloth, and I'm just going to wipe it. And I'll look glittery the rest of the day. I do have a little glue on my mat, but I'll clean that off afterwards. But there is our window. Now I need something for this window to live on. So I have cut out, and I did this ahead of time because I didn't want to do this on camera. This is actually a Gina Marie die, and this is the Nested Scalloped Stitch Oval. So in case you're wondering which set this came from, and this is the largest die in this collection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this down to this oval, and this oval is going to live on our card. And I just wanted something just to give this a little more dimension, a little bit more, just a little something extra. So I think that this oval does that. But I'll show you where I'm going with this. I also punched out quite a few of these little bowels, and I used two different shades of green. I used a green like this, and I also used a green like this, and as you can see I cut out quite a few of those, and I want to decorate as though this is a window box. So I am going to, before we put this down, I am going to glue these little bowels, and I'm going to start with my light green, and I'm just going to put a little teeny bit of glue, and I'm going to kind of have them going off like that. And then I think I'll do a different green over here. And I'm just going to alternate these colors back and forth, and just letting them touch in the middle like that. And I think this is going to give us a really nice little dimension of greenery foliage, sort of looking like a wreath, but not quite. You know how we sometimes when we go and buy our Christmas tree on a Christmas tree lot, and they'll tell us we can go and get some of the little spriglies. This is what some people would do with their spriglies. They would decorate a window or make maybe a spray for their door, something like that. But I think they're just so pretty. And we're going to do a couple more of the darker ones, maybe coming down. And just, you know, when you're making something like this, just pretend that you're making a little window hanging, a little flower box hanging or whatever. That would be a perfect little decoration for your Christmas window. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We're just going to build this out like so. Maybe another one down, right down the middle. And then maybe one more. Now I do want to use all of these, and like I said, all I'm doing is putting a tiny bit of glue right on that edge right there, and just gluing them down because I want them to stay looking kind of, you know, raised up. And if you notice, I'm building it kind of in an arch, and I'm going to do this last one, and we are going to do it right about here. And I think that looks beautiful. Now I did punch out, and if you remember, I think it was last week when I was working on my card, I was looking for a bow, and I did this one, but I didn't like the fact that it did not have enough of dimension. So this is the same bow. I just saved it, and because I figured I would be able to use it again. And this is just a good rule of thumb. Now I'm going to go in and try to give this bow a little bit more dimension, just by using my little stylist and this little mouse pad. And you can use a piece of fun foam, or like I said, an old mouse pad. Anything like that will work, that will give you a soft surface just to rub against, and you get in there and just really give it a lot of dimension. And see, that really does bring that bow to life. Isn't that pretty? And all we're going to do is we're going to put that bow right here on our greenery. Isn't that pretty? So before I put that bow down, I do want to see if I can find some little red gems. And if I can't find red gems, I am going to punch some red out of some paper and just make some little round circles. But let me look in here and see if I have any gems that are red. And I don't think I do. You know what, I got these, but these are my little enamel dots, and I'm actually saving those to work on another project, so I don't really want to use those. So I'm still digging to see if I can find any. I don't believe I have any. So we are going to punch out. Let's look and make sure I don't have anything in this little container where I've got my little Christmas decorations in. No, I think I'm going to do exactly what I said. I'm going to use a little piece of leftover paper, and I am going to just punch out some little dots, and I think I'll use my little crocodile to do this. And I'm just going to punch and we'll straighten those out. I just need some holly berries to go on the greenery. I think that will really bring this to life. So there's 3. And like I said, we'll press those out to look a little better. See how those are going to work. I'm not sure how many we're going to need, so we are just going to press these out a little bit, maybe by using a little mouse pad. Might need to turn them over. Yep, that's working. So we're just going to flatten these out a little bit. And we are just going to continue getting these pressed out like this. Alright, so we've got those ready now. We just need to pick them up, and I'm going to use this little picker, and I am planning on just picking these up and just laying them around on here first, just to see how I want to place them. Well, that looks cute. What I might need to do is put my bow down first and then kind of put these around it, because we don't want to cover these up. So let's do that. I am actually going to put this bow down with a glue dot. So I'm going to use one of these dimensional foam dots. I think we might need a bigger one. Yeah, I think we'll use a bigger one for this, because I want to make sure that it gets under here. Maybe we'll just stick it right in the middle here, just like that, and then we'll just stick our bow right there on it. That way we can assure that our bow's getting exactly where we need it to be. Oh yeah, that's working good. Alright, so now we are going to move this out of the way, and then we can pick these up and put these little holly berries around in strategic locations where we feel like they need to be some holly. And I think a holly berry needs to go right about here. Oops, let's see if I can get some glue. Let's see. There we go. That looks like a good little place for a holly berry. And then we're going to put one more right over here. And then I think we need one right about there, because we always associate things in threes, looking pleasing to the eye. So we're going to do 3 over on the other side. 2, 3, and I thought we had one more. We might have to cut another one. One might have gotten away. But, okay. Let's go ahead and get 3 right about here. That's 1. And maybe one more right there. here. Oh, I love those. I think they're adding so much to it. And I think what I'm going to do is maybe put one down here. Maybe somewhere right about there. And then maybe one right about here. Oops, what did I do with it? Did I pick it up on my finger? There it is. Got a little bit of glue on the top of it because you know what I did? I got glue on this. So I'm just going to run it over a piece of tape and hope that I can clean that up a little bit. There. And I'm still thinking I need a couple of more berries on here. So I'm just going to go ahead and punch out a couple of more of these. And maybe one more. The crocodile does kind of curl your little punches that comes out of it, but it does work. So if you do have one of those, or if you just have a regular hole punch, that would work, because that will give you about the size that you're going to need for these little holly berries. And I think most everybody has a little hole punch in their craft room of some sort. So, alright, let's see if we can stick a couple more of these down. I think I'm going to put one more right there. And I want one right here with it, like right about here. That looks cute. And then we're going to put one right here. And then another one right here. And we got to scoop that over just a hair. I think I got a little too zealous with my glue, but that's okay, because remember, this is art glitter glue. It's going to dry clear, and it's going to be all right. Now I got one more. Do I want to put one more? Is that going to be enough? I think that's going to be fine like that. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to put this on this black, because I think that is going to really set that off, and it's going to give this a place to live that's going to be beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over, and I am going to just run some art glitter glue all over the back of this. But now I need to question, do I want that to be... No, I'm going to put this on dimension once we put this on the card. I'm going to put this whole piece on dimension. I think that'll be much prettier. Yes. I love this. I think it's coming together so pretty, so glossy, and I think this little oval is really setting it off to have a place for this little window to live. Now I don't think I got that quite where I wanted it. So you know what, we're going to turn that over. Or are we? Yeah, I want it right there, and that's going to work a little better. Okay, now we're going to get some dimensional foam, and I'm just going to use this Scott's 3M foam tape. And I'm going to cut me about 3 strips of it. And we'll see if that's enough. I'm going to turn this over just for a moment so I can get this tape right where I want it. So I'm thinking I want to run a piece up this way and a piece up this way, and maybe this piece right here, and I think we're going to need one more piece for there. So let's cut one more piece. I'd rather cut too less than too much. So yeah, we're going to need to trim this piece off just a little bit. And then we're going to get these little pieces, and I am going to cut some little triangle pieces that's going to fit right about here. And maybe right here, and maybe one more piece. I like, whenever I make a card like this, I like to make sure that I've got enough of tape that's going to hold it in place, because the last thing you want to do is to give someone a beautiful card and then it falls to pieces on them. That's just not a good rule of thumb. Oh, that's so pretty. Look how pretty that's going to look on here. I don't think I'm going to put a sentiment on this. I think I'm just going to let this be the focal point, and we're going to put something on the inside. I think this is gorgeous. It screams Christmas. I don't think anybody would have to guess whether or not this is a Christmas card. So we're just going to pull this backers off of our foam tape. And then we're going to bring this over, and I am not going to do anything on the inside but maybe put a mat in there for now, because I don't always know who's going to get this card, and I may want to send a personal message inside or a personal sentiment. And there we go. Is that not gorgeous? I love the way that came together. And I am going to put a white piece of cardstock in here. So I am going to cut this piece, and I think that's going to mat it perfectly. So we're going to put this piece, and we're going to cut it at 5 1/4. And I think what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and put that down with a little bit of my ATG. And now we got a nice little place to put a sentiment inside. Or hand write a note, or however we see fit to finish off this beautiful little card. So there. And there's our Christmas card that is done. I do think I want to stamp a really pretty Merry Christmas inside in some black ink. I think that will be beautiful. So that's how I'm going to finish off this card. So my favorite Merry Christmas stamp for this year. It seems like every year I have a different one. Actually, I think I'm going to use a different one. I think I'm going to use May the Spirit of Christmas Fill Your Hearts. There's so many beautiful sentiments on some of our stamp sets. It's hard to make up your mind, but I think I'm going to use this one. It's Oh Holy Night. This is just gorgeous. So let's go ahead and stamp before we leave, and that way we will have a complete finished card. Now I am going to put this in my Misty, I think. Yep, I'm going to put it in like this. So we know that we want the stamp set to live about here. So I am going to pick up my stamp and make sure this is down where I want it to be. That is perfect. I'm going to turn it around like this so I can better see what I'm doing. Yes. And I'm going to grab my favorite ink, my favorite black ink for sentiments, which is my Versafine Onyx Black. And I had not used this stamp before, so I was thinking I was just going to use that big Merry Christmas stamp, but I changed my mind because I really wanted this card to say something else. So I want this to say, "Oh holy night, the stars are brightly shining." And let's see. It looks like it needs to be inked a little bit more. And this is why I used my Misty, because I wanted to make sure that I was able to re-ink this if need be. And that's much better. Much, much, much better. So now all we have to do is, if we want to put a Merry Christmas across there, we can. Or we can just leave it like this and write Merry Christmas in there. But there's our beautiful little Christmas card for week 2. I hope y'all enjoyed the process of making this as much as I did. And I look forward to crafting with y'all next time. And until we meet again, y'all just be a blessing to someone and let someone know that they're special to you today. You'll never know what it means to their heart. So until we meet again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Happy crafting!